Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now guess who is the second most popular person in the Republican Party according to Republicans? We all know Donald Trump is number one. Number two might surprise you. It's George W. Bush, the president who lied us into Iraq, let Afghanistan degenerate into chaos, abandoned the people of New Orleans and the surrounding area after Hurricane Katrina, ignored the threat of terrorism, which was why he failed to stop the attack on 9/11. He had enough information to stop that attack, he just didn't take any action. Ordered our soldiers and intelligence agencies to commit war crimes, created the prison at Guantanamo Bay, and to top it off, brought down the entire world's economy. That guy. 8 years after he left office in disgrace, Republicans are looking back at the Bush administration with warm, fuzzy feelings. Those were the good old days. As a matter of fact, there are Republicans who lost their jobs during the Bush administrations, got new jobs during the Obama administration, and still think that they were better off back when they were unemployed. So Jeb Bush, whose campaign has been floundering, is bringing out his big brother to campaign for him. Now, anybody with a clear memory knows that George W. Bush was the worst president in U.S. history, possibly even in world history. Everything he did was a disaster. Everything he touched turned to shit. But the Republican narrative is that Barack Obama is the worst president in history. The president who saved the world's economy, not to mention the U.S. auto industry, created over 8 million jobs, reduced the deficit, and gave 18 million Americans health insurance. He's the worst president. Oh, and there's another thing. A couple of years after 9/11, George W. Bush disbanded that section of the CIA which was dedicated to finding Osama bin Laden. Obama revived that unit, and because of that, bin Laden was killed. But see, if you're going to paint Obama as the worst president ever, you have to try to rehabilitate Bush. So Republicans blame Obama for like income inequality, even though the main author of that was Ronald Reagan. And his policies were continued by both Bushes and to some extent Bill Clinton, although much less. Many Republicans believe that Obama raised their taxes. Well, if you're a billionaire, he did. But if you're a regular working class Joe, he did not. There are a lot of Republicans who will tell you that Obama was responsible for the failed government response to Hurricane Katrina. This was long before Obama got to be president, but they'll tell you that it was Obama's fault. As a matter of fact, if you want to see a model of government response to a natural disaster, look at the Obama response to Hurricane Sandy. Nobody has any complaints about how FEMA handled that. Now you might take a look and say, well, there are still problems in New Jersey. Yeah, there are. That's because they have this governor there, Chris Christie, who is kind of corrupt and not very competent. And so the state's response to Hurricane Sandy has been a complete failure. And the residents of New Jersey, especially along the shore, are still having problems, especially getting the money which they were supposed to get. And it's hard to believe that this guy thought he could run for president on his record. But then again, he's far from the worst GOP governor. Look at Sam Brownback and Scott Walker and Rick Snyder. But Republicans may have forgotten just how bad George W. Bush was. But I doubt that the rest of the country has. But there is something that can give comfort to the fans of George W. Bush. And that's this. If Donald Trump gets elected president, by the time he's done, George W. Bush will no longer be the worst president ever. Thanks for listening.